Hi everyone, I'm Jungmin Yoon. I'm the author of A Cruelty Special to Our Species, and I'll be reading 5 poems for you today, 4 from the book and 1 that's been written more recently. So I'm going to read with sections from this poem sequence called Testimonies, and each section is named after a former comfort woman, which is a euphemistic term for the sex slaves of the Japanese Empire. Kang Dok-kyung. My school teacher asked me if I wanted to go to Japan, do something good for the emperor. We were led to a harbor, a cargo ship, a train, to a factory in Doyamaki, where food was so scarce. We pulled grass, fruits, anything we could eat. Girls died of hunger. Some went crazy. I ran away, was found by a Japanese soldier. Kobayashi took me to a hut every evening. Soldiers, countless soldiers. On the wild mountainside, Kobayashi. An unusually quiet day, I found Japan had lost the war. I sailed to Korea, jumped from the crates, hit my stomach with fists. I failed. I named him Youngju. Left him at an orphanage, met him every Sunday. One Sunday, I saw another boy in his clothes. Youngju had died of pneumonia, already buried. I thought of Kobayashi bringing me rice in his drunken stupor. I thought of the piece of steel I took at the factory. I found some of the steel so attractive. I still believe he is alive, somewhere. I want to believe that all was just a terrible fate. But then, Kim. I was 14 years old. It was around November 26th. It snowed. I remember. I was on my way home from the photo studio with my portrait when a man in olive-drab clothing grabbed me by the collar, cursed in Japanese. Was he Japanese or Korean? I could not tell. I was thrown onto a truck of mournful sounds of weeping. These girls and I crossed the border into China. There was no poison, no ropes. In Sugo, I was number 4. I was Takeda Sanai. The first night an officer grabbed me and drank disinfectant, but I didn't die. In Nanjing, I had malaria, appendicitis, hemorrhage in my vagina, but I didn't die. In Singapore, I saw dark-skinned men digging ditches. They looked at us as if they would burst into tears. In Singapore, the war ended. We boiled leaves from trees and wild greens. We ate this to survive. When I made it back to Busan Harbor, I went to my brother's house in Daegu. In his dream, I had shaved my head, was drowning in the ocean, but I didn't die. My name is Kim. I was born on December 20th, 1920. I was born into a good family. I am a Catholic. I should forget and forgive, but I cannot. When my head turns toward Japan, I curse her. I want to find solace, but I cannot. When I wake up every morning, I cannot. Kim Yoon. An automobile drove up the road, something I had never seen before. The driver let me climb up and the truck rolled on, then kept on going and going, and I begged them to take me back, but I was thrown into a cargo train, a cargo ship, Paladin, a comfort station where 3 truckloads of soldiers arrived. One by one they raped all night long with filthy, wordless bodies. My child's body. They impregnated girls and still forced sex. When the child was born, a blue uniformed woman put the body in a sack and carried it away. Soldiers used the sack, saku, reused condoms. Girls got sick. When a girl got too sick, a guard wrapped her body in a blanket and carried her away. Such was our life. Look at my fingers. When I ran away, the police smashed my hands, leaving a stiff pen between my fingers, like this. Another year passed, like this. In June 1945, when the camp seemed deserted, I escaped and ran all night. In a month, I reached Korean shores. In Harbin, I saw at a stream a hand of a sick girl who had been buried alive. In my dreams, she is still reaching toward wider waters. My hands, with her perfect fingers, cannot help her. Next, I'm going to read a poem called Say Grace. Say grace. In my country, our shamans were women, and our gods multiple until white people dropped an ecstasy of rosaries, and our cities today glow with crosses like graveyards. As a child in Sunday school, I was told I'd go to hell if I didn't believe in God. Our teacher was a woman whose daughters wanted to be nuns, and I asked, "What about babies? And what about Buddha?" And she said, "They're in hell too." And so I memorized prayers and recited them in front of women I did not believe in. Deliver us from evil. O sweet Virgin Mary, amen. O sweet, O sweet. In this country, which calls itself Christian, what is sweeter than hearing, "Have mercy on us from those who serve different gods"? O clement, O loving, O God, amidst ruins, amidst waters, fleeing, fleeing. Deliver us from evil, O sweet, O sweet. In this country, point at the moon, at the stars, point at the way the lake lies, with a handful of feathers, and they will look at the feathers and kill you for it. If a word for religion they don't believe in is magic, so be it. Let us have magic. Let us have our own mothers and stars, our spirits, our shamans, and our sacred books. Let us keep our stars to ourselves, and we shall pray to no one. Let us eat what makes us holy. Thank you. For my last and fifth poem, I'm going to read the poem called Body of. Body of. My mother teaching me how to protect my body. When a man touches you here, yell, "I am a body that will bear a child." How was I, a child, to understand that as the sanctity of my body? How was I to know to say, the body without that potential is also whole and holy? A man who touches a child does not care whether she will one day be fertile. A dear friend, on making the body useful, encourages me to have babies. What does it mean to say, I have my body? I have a brain, I have a life, a heart, I've said before, but I meant only mine, without knowing there were outlines of other bodies fleshing in my center, being the body of woman, for whom body means collective, as it is for the body of evidence, of knowledge. Here I present my body of work, my body of water. Here my body. But are we of our bodies, we of this nation, this body of land? Bodies are thrown across oceans, across lands. Bodies lie bleeding through the evidence of bullets. Honest bodies bleeding honestly. In order to continue living, we try to leave evidence of our lives. We accumulate bodies in whatever way we can. Men leave themselves in women's bodies. Friends, I am just now ready to love my own. I love my father's eyebrows on my face, and I love my mother's calves on my legs, and I love the parts of my body that I do not name. Let that be enough. The future of this land is uncertain, and how high the flames, the waters will be. This land in which I give up something every day. This land in which I still bleed and bleed. Thank you.